Yes. Welcome on into the barber shop. Let me just vent and pull my jacket down. I done wasted one of my better zip ups playing around with the Cleveland Browns, as you can see. Um, and Cleveland Browns, you see at the bottom of the score, 23-10 over Cincinnati Bengals in the Battle of Ohio, triumphant 23-10 over your Cleveland Browns. There's a lot to talk about today. So I just want to give you a friendly reminder. If you do want to donate to the show, you can cash app me at $GBush91. You can also hit me up on Super Chat if you would like to do so on YouTube. You can also hit me up on PayPal as well. You just search Garrett Bush. And so we got a lot to get to. I'm going to try to temper um, my emotions. Sometimes when you do something really emotional and you give people that emotion, sometimes people will tune out what your message is. And so I'm going to do my best to kind of give you my synopsis of where the Cleveland Browns are at and why this is such a very difficult place for me to come at to try to tell you about what the Cleveland Browns are going to do, or what is lying in front of them and why it's going to be so difficult for them to understand where they need to go from here. Sometimes when you bring that passion is great, man, but passion also gives people who don't like the truth a reason to tune you out. So what I want to do is be very pragmatic. I want to be very very to the book, straightforward with this, so you can decide whether or not what I'm saying is the sky falling down, and you could come up with your own conclusion. But what I'm going to get into is really going to be something that I don't believe is really refutable. If you are a person that likes the facts and you like to look at the context clues and dig a little deeper, you can see that the Cleveland Browns are in some major trouble. First and foremost, one of the reasons why the Cleveland Browns are in major trouble is because I'm sitting here having to question the competency and the exact how should I say it? If somebody's cut out for this, there's a lot of people that come to me every single day, and they ask me, G Bush, how you get on? G Bush, what do I need to do to start, getting into the radio business, or how did you get on the radio or whatever? And I always tell people I will always donate my time to individuals. I will always give my time to those who seem eager, and I'll give them my opportunity. But what I find a lot too is that sometimes people will ask you for your opinion and people will ask you for help, and they already know why they aren't successful right now. There's some individuals that just may not be cut out for it. You can try, you can be a gun-ho, you can put a lot of work and effort into it, but to be truthful, some people is just not fit to sit in front of a microphone. And that's no harm. There's lots of other things that you can do to work in the business. You can be a producer, you could be an engineer, you could be a program director, you could do all kind of things. You could do imaging, you could do traffic. You can be one of the individuals that is holding the camera. There are all types of things that you can do as an individual in order to get into the business and work behind the scenes. But the reality is you're just not cut out for it. If you can't sit in front of somewhere and have a constant stream of thought process and be entertaining at doing it, it doesn't matter how informative you are. Do people really want to listen to you? And I can't tell you why or why not people want to listen to me. Some people can't stand me. Some people think I'm great. Some people think I'm the best to ever do it. But the reality is you have to invoke some sort of emotion out of people to get them to either want to listen to you to say you're wrong or want to listen to you to say you're right. And you may go and say, once again, G Bush, you just spent 5-6 minutes of your opening monologue talking about you, and what does this have to do with the Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson, and losing to the Bengals? Well, today there was 3 to 4 things that Kevin Stefanski did immediately in this football game that made me question whether or not he was cut out for it. And as I said before, I don't care how many times you give him. I don't care how many years you give him. I don't care how many times that he gets his players, or how many situations indeed that, he gets better, or he has to learn the ropes, or if you could just figure out clock management, maybe if he gets the quarterback, maybe if they run the ball more, maybe a couple bounces here or there. And all of a sudden, Kevin Stefanski is going to be the guy. He's going to wake up and be Vince Lombardi. He's going to wake up and be some of the great quarterbacks, some of the great coaches, Bill Walsh. He's not going to turn into that. And there are things that he's done in the past where you can kind of overlook it and just say, well, maybe he'll get better at that. But two things happened today, and I want to get into this really quickly before we really even get to your comments, because I know there's a lot on there. I'm going to thank you in advance for your great comments, and thank you for your patience. But I want to get to these first before I get to the comments, just so I catch the people, right now that may have a short attention span and want to get to it right now. Start with this. This game was over with 2 plays. I repeat, this game was finished in 2 plays. We've talked about on this show in the barbershop multiple times about how there's a couple things you can do in your life that can change the course of your life in 1 or 2 mistakes. See, we under the false sense of security that if you make a mistake, you can always come back from it. That's untrue. You can make some mistakes so grave that your life is changed and somebody else's life is changed just by one decision. And people may say, is that fair? Sure, it's unfair, but that's the way life is. Life is cold. Life is like it's the survival of the fittest. And when you're talking about sports at the highest and high level, where guys put 70, 80, 90 hours in a week, trying to fight for them 3 yards, fight for 3 inches, fight for that chain link to move the chains. When you got people out there fighting for that, you got to be perfect. You have to be razor sharp. And there are too many times where I don't see that from Kevin Stefanski. Let's delve into it. We're moving quick today, so we don't lose nobody. Hit that like button. 135 in here. Hit that like button. First thing that's unacceptable is the Jacoby Brissett trick play on 4th down. Let me tell you how egregious this is. To me, this was a fireable offense. Straight up. To me, this was a fireable offense on its own. And the reason it's so grave is because he lacks awareness and not understanding the practical manners of football. You've had to create a playbook for Jacoby Brissett the whole year. You've had to run play action. You've had to minimize his throws to certain areas of the field. You've had to run the football. You've had to run play action. You've had to have great defensive games. You've had to lean on Nick Chubb. You've had to paper mache these games together and potluck this game plan together to squeeze out 3 wins with Jacoby Brissett. But somehow, you think you're smart enough to do something that even little old me picked up on. And let's be clear, I'm not that smart. There's guys that do this for a living. There's guys that's doing this for a living 80, 90 hours. And if I know it, what you think they know? See, you set this play up last week by bringing Jacoby Brissett and taking Deshaun Watson out. Was that the equivalent of you putting something on film that people had to respect? We don't respect that. And they laughed at you. Why would you act like putting Jacoby Brissett in to fake a 1-yard sneak to move the chains was so earth-shattering that teams were going to panic when they saw Jacoby Brissett trot in instead of Deshaun Watson? Did you think they were going to change their personnel groupings? Did you somehow think that I got him now? Boy, they'll be caught with their pants down now. Jacoby Brissett's riding in the game. He's so dual. He's so mobile. They won't know what to do. You do that stupid play call, and you took your whole team out of rhythm. You did that dumb play call, and you put a backup quarterback who had not practiced that throw. He probably practiced it a couple times in practice, and you ask him to come off the bench cold while your team and your quarterback, the $230 million quarterback who needs reps, who made a couple of great throws to start with, he's already done those things. You get down to fourth down. Did you think about kicking a field goal? Maybe because, hey, it's a good sign for your quarterback who struggled last game to get some points on the drive, to be able to rally his team together and say, look, guy, we on the road. Good job. We'll take 3 out of that. No, you didn't do that. Okay, well, you want to be aggressive. Did you just tell Deshaun Watson to take your quarterback sneak for a yard? Did you do that? No, you just took him out of the game and sat him on the side. Hey, I know Nick Chubb wasn't running it well, but, I mean, hey, what is a high percentage play? What is a higher percentage? A throw from Jacoby Brissett, who's off the bench cold, for a corner route and dropping it in the bucket in the corner of the end zone with one shot to do it, and coming off the bench cold, and he's a backup to begin with. That's what you came up with? That is what you spent all last week learning. All last week, this is what y'all did. And this is why I go at people and still have the energy on Twitter. Because some people think the longer you do something means you get better at it. No, I'm never going to be able to swim the 200-meter butterfly medley faster than Michael Phelps. I don't care how much I try. I am not cut out for it. I could get my personal time down. I could get in shape, but I ain't never going to do it. And my problem with people is, every single hire, you want to do this like give Johnny a chance to bat. Hey, this ain't a little league where everybody pay $300 to bat, and a mom come to the game and they know their little kid is garbage, and you're only doing it to get him some exercise, and you might want to be acclimating him to getting around some people. Right? He's kind of shy and nervous. You want to work on his people skills. So you sign up for $300 to get out there and play T-ball. I get it. It's a place and time in the world for that kind of stuff. I love it to death. But after a certain amount of years, we done with the charity stuff. We done charity. I could go to St. Jude's. I could do all that. I could donate my time. My time is not based on donating to no time to losing games because people ain't got talent. And you still think that Kevin Stefanski one day is going to just roll over and get it. Maybe he's just his coordinator, people. And no good coordinator at that would have done that. You derailed the whole momentum. You poured cold water on everything you've done by doing. They don't do that in high school. They don't do it in college. They don't do that at the FBS level, the FCS level, the NFL, the Pac-12. Nowhere. They don't even do that in rugby. And somehow, nobody was in his headset like saying, what the hell are you doing, Kevin? Kevin, come, intervention. Same way you throw that flag down, I'd have threw that penalty flag right. I'd have got an imaginary flag. I'd have been just like this. Hold on, Kevin. Hold on. Sweet. Kevin, let me get in your headset. What the hell are you doing? Did you order the code red? Did you order the code red? If you know, you know. At that point, the game was 50% over because the whole Bengals sidelines was like, look at this sucker over here. What the hell are the Browns doing? That was the play? And I had the nerve of some people to tell me on Twitter, well, G, if he wouldn't have overthrown him, he was open. Maybe if you'd have left Deshaun freaking Watson in the game to throw the ball, it might have been closer. Maybe if you'd have put anybody but a backup quarterback. I saw enough of Jacoby Brissett after the 11 games. What about Jacoby did you not understand that you got 3 wins with? And you bringing him off the bench. Do Patrick Mahomes come off the bench? Do Lamar Jackson come off the bench? Does Brady come off the bench? Does Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert? I can keep going. Kyler Murray. Which one of these dudes is coming off the bench and letting somebody throw a corner route because they was confused? You know what? I said I wasn't going to get my blood pressure up. Whew, I digress. 119 comments in the chat. I haven't even pulled them up. I swear I'm going to get to them. I just want to give you the other play of the game. And then we can go through it piece by piece like we always do. 211 people in here. If you like the real, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hit it. Please hit the subscribe button because I'm going to tell you a lot of things in this segment. I'm going to give you the future. I'm going to get in my crystal ball and I'm going to give you exactly what's going to happen if the Cleveland Browns don't make a way and fix this crap right now. And it don't look good. And it just don't. Let's keep going. I'll keep going. Just let that soak in. Let that soak in. As I repeat, the theme of the music is sometimes you're not just cut out for it. Some of us ain't never going to be no models. Sorry, your wife's not a bikini model. Doesn't mean that she doesn't deserve to be respected and loved, but she's not going to be on the cover of Vogue or Elle magazine. She's never going to do photo shoots for Ralph Lauren. It's no big deal. You can live a great productive life by just being a regular good person. But some people, no matter how much they try, are not going to be models. What does that have to do? Well, maybe Kevin should realize it's all about complementary football. You had your defense playing well for once in the first half. Down distance, 4th and 15 or something. They're inside their own 20. You got Donovan Peoples-Jones back there who's shorthanded. He even took a punt to the crib last week. 4th and 15, you already think, even if he fair catches this thing, we have the best territory and the best field position we've had all game, with an opportunity to once again come up with points. And that's worst case if they fair catch it and get nothing. Best case, he get 10 yards, you already in field goal range, right? So what would you do? Would you line up and punt block, as the Cleveland Browns did, and go after a punt when don't nobody block kicks in the league? This ain't high school or college. Ain't nobody about to let you block no kicks. What are you talking about? Why would you even line up in that? See, sometimes you got to understand what your personnel is. If you don't want mistakes to happen, don't let J.R. Smith take the ball out of bounds. Did I say that? I was just talking about football. But it carries over. If you don't want bad things to happen, as I knock out my headset, if you don't want bad things to happen, don't put medium, down the line, rookie, inexperienced people in a position to do dumb things. Let me ask you a question. If you are a parent and you buying a house like I'm trying to do at this point, and you got small children, you got a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old, and like a 2-month-old. Would you buy a house where all of the bedrooms is upstairs on a winding ladder with 2 different banisters and a chandelier? No, bro. You wouldn't, because that means you would have to have all your children, the ones that swaddle things, the one that like roll over and be suffocating themselves, the ones that just randomly wake up in the middle of the night. Yeah, you don't want them on 45 stairwells of stairs as they come down to your room on the first floor and say, Dad, I'm scared because it was raining. You fool, you idiot. You don't put vulnerable people in positions to even make no L's. I ain't going to the hospital in the middle of the night. All these kids going to be readily accessible. If I got to go down the hall and be like, okay, go back to bed, that's cool. But why would I put you on a balcony so you can fall off? Child Protective Service going to be all at your house. How about, sir, did you know you had a 90-foot chandelier and your children were 3, 2, and 3 months old? This dude, Kevin Stefanski, he must have thought Fields was some sort of veteran. Why would you even put them in punt block? You be in punt safe where they are blocking at the snap, and then you are able to get a better return, right? Novel, right? Because really, who's blocking a kick? Instead, you run punt block, all the guys rush in the backfield, and this guy just rams the kicker, not even close, no awareness, no body control, no block point. And every single person that's out there trying to tell me that, no, it's his fault. No, here's what you do. Here's how I know you was self-check. First and foremost, every single time that you are punting, y'all keep trying to make it seem like Stefanski is in charge, but it's down the line somewhere where all his special teams and defenses can make they're autonomous. They just make whatever. No, when you sit there, I done been on punt team and punt block. When it's 4th down and everybody in the world is doing this, all excited, you know what the coordinator and the head coach are doing? He's telling him, Coach, what are we on here? Hey, Coach, we're gonna go after this punt block. Hey, Coach, we're gonna set up a return right. Hey, Coach, let's set up the return middle. Hey, we're going punt safe here. Leave the defense in. I think they're gonna try to sneak it. Leave our defensive in. We'll let it roll a little bit, but we're gonna make sure we get this ball back. Every single special teams play, Kevin Stefanski or the head coach is talking to a special teams coordinator, trying to figure out what he's doing. You know why? Because wherever field position you get, he's already setting his next plays up. Maybe he likes to play on the left hash and he wants it to the wide side of the field so he can throw. See, don't tell me about what I don't know. Just pay attention sometimes. Now, don't disrespect. The same way when you score a touchdown and they're celebrating in the end zone, and you see the head coach doing this, 1. And you see the head coach, 2. It's the same way on punt. Because the coach you see is in charge of all those decisions. Do you think you can run a fake punt without the coach knowing? I'm going to just take a liberty as an up snapper and call a fake punt and run. Do you think you can call that without the coach saying it? Do you think you can just randomly go for 2 on field goal team without the coach? So why the heck would you think that they could go for a block or when the coach didn't know about it? Y'all need to stop it. That game was over after these 2 plays. And guess what? All too often, it's just the Browns. Thank you for your patience, people. I've been talking a whole lot. Let's get to some of these comments. 165. Appreciate you guys. There's so many in here. Gosh, there's so many in here. Let's get to some of them. Man, you guys been, here we go. EMS, appreciate you. 263, before we get to these, make sure you hit that like button if you're in here, man. How could Kevin say, yeah, some good stuff out there? I saw some good stuff Thursday night, or is it maybe just my eyes? Oh, there's a Baker reference. We can't even get to that. Oh, man. Firewood's in pre for now. No need to wait till the end of the season. It's officially over. Over to Ken those clowns when we were 8-5-8. Kevin should be on notice too. When we get ready, some of these comments, I'm gonna take them. I want to go. What I just said wasn't even the scary part. We haven't even got to the part where it's just like we extrapolate this thing out over a period of time and simulate how this thing's gonna move if there's no improvements made. What annoys me the most is not the losing, but the lost potential in our final score. Almost every game this season, Stefanski cost the Browns a minimum of 10 points with his corny ass play calling. It's corny. It is. It's corny, bro. I don't even see what I see out there from Kevin Stefanski is a person that runs mediocre, basic concept to the highest level. But the problem with being mediocre and running the basic concept to the highest level is that when you start playing against guys that are elite and guys that are scheming and elite coaching, they make that little Mickey Mouse bootleg garbage you be running look like crap. Ain't nothing moving. And that's all the time. And you can already tell it by this. Every time you watch another team, I watch Joe Burrow throw 10-yard outs on Joe Woods defense, and no one's around. I got tired of seeing John Johnson just walking behind somebody. And the fact of the matter that they have the audacity to put this stuff in your face, they think you're stupid. Let me ask you a question. Why those routes open for everybody else but us? If they work that good, I could cut, copy, and paste them directly off the all 22 film. Hey, coach, write that. That's that number 3 play the Bengals ran last week. We'll be stealing that concept and all. I'll be stealing the whole playbook. But every time we play, it don't matter if it's Baker. Don't matter if it's Jacoby Brissett. Hey, don't even matter if it's Deshaun Watson. Let me ask you this question. Why it seem like we got to fight, claw, scratch, cheat, punch, dig for every single yard we get? If we complete a pass, it's 9 dudes all over us like a bunch of ants in the middle of winter over an ice cream cone on the ground. It's just, these balls are contested. The windows is tight. Why is it it's just y'all? It don't matter who you got, what receivers. It just don't matter. You know what that tells me? That tells me a lack of creativity in your route combinations. That tells me a lack of creativity in what you scheming open and what you're doing. And that shows me that you are good doing rudimentary plays. Well, guess what? You ain't never going to win a championship with rudimentary plays. Just sorry. Sorry, man. Ben, Steph living on the bubble, and he thinks he's a smart cat. Hey, that play, if you didn't buy into that narrative, that's exactly what it was, and we've seen it all too often. I appreciate the super chat. Yo, G. Bush, appreciate you for all the content and hard work you put in. Speaking of facts, my question is, what is going on with the offensive line? Well, here's the thing about the offensive line. Jedrick Wills is to me, he's working on being a bust. He just doesn't have the requisite ability to play left tackle. I don't understand why this was hard to see. He played right tackle in college. You don't make the move from right tackle to left tackle. You make the move from left tackle to right tackle, which means that, hey, if I'm playing poorly, I can go against lesser pass rushers. I can go move you and kick you down over there. It's like this. Think about how silly this sounds. It's like being like, you get nominated to be the president of the United States. And instead of you accepting the nomination, you say, I'd rather be the vice president. What? What? It doesn't really work that way. It's like if you are in Congress and you're a senator, you don't say, well, I did win re-election, but I would rather drop down to the House of Representatives. No, that's a district. You're representing your whole state. Why would you drop down from a state elected official making rules about the governing power of the United States to going back to a House representative? It don't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. It don't happen that way. It don't happen that way. Let's get to some more of these super chats, man. I appreciate all you guys, man. I appreciate it, man. Let's get to I want to make sure I get all the super chats, and we really gonna keep it. We really gonna keep it G out here, bro. Royal Band, he said, with that, you know what happened to this quarterback sneak with JB7. If you putting in a backup QB in the same game, not taking your franchise quarterback out the game to throw a pass, that's never happened at any level. It just hasn't. It just hasn't. James Bowen. I'm thinking of all the great coaches we've skipped over these past years, especially Arians, Gruden, Reed, Shanahan, and they keep settling for these guys who haven't proved themselves. It's crazy. So crazy. Let me get to these super chats too. I got 2 or 3 more down here. I promise I will get to each and every one of you. Warpath says, I wish this team had more fight, punches, and clawing. Well, some would argue that you take that specifically from your leader. Have you ever heard a Mike Tomlin team be called soft? Have you ever heard Andy Reid team described as boring to watch and with no innovation? Have you ever heard of a team like John Harbaugh and the Ravens that are terrible in special teams? No, you don't hear that. You know why you don't hear that? You won't hear that? It's because those people hang their hats on those skill sets. That's what they are. So you show me an undisciplined team, I'll show you an undisciplined coach. You show me a non-innovative a team that looks like vanilla, I'll show you a vanilla coach. Teams without fire basically mimic what they see. And so Joe Woods basically comes out and says, I don't know what I was doing. Kevin Stefanski says, I don't know what I'm doing, but we'll fix it, but not really fix it. Why would you think that you're going to beat a team who they disrespect you? They don't even think you worth the fight. Let's talk about this. And you'll hear this all week from the talking heads. We'll get to Deshaun Watson and what I think about him. We'll get to the defense. We'll get to all of those things. But when you listen to the radio and television all week, ask yourself this question. If they would have told you before the game that they was going to play without their number 1 tight end, their number 2 receiver in T. Higgins, the number 3 receiver in Tyler Boyd, that they would get smoked and the game wasn't really even close? I mean, let's be clear, people. Like, they was playing with backups. They had dudes looking like Thor and Ragnar Lothbrok. I seen this little short dude named Taylor running around getting. I'd be mad. I would have broke my controller on Madden. I'd have broken. Ain't no way Taylor getting off, right? But any sort of wise team would say, simply, we're going to double Chase. I'm doubling him wherever he goes. If Taylor and these down the line dudes who I've never seen on tape wants to beat you, I'll congratulate you and shake your hand. But once again, all these things, I keep bringing them up. When you were doing, when Atlanta couldn't complete a pass, what did they do? They threw the ball. Or excuse me, they ran the ball with 3 different journeyman running backs 14 times in a row and put you away. Even though it was counterintuitive, you would think as an NFL team, nobody should be able to run 11 plays back to back. As a matter of fact, on Tecmo Bowl, you couldn't run the same play twice in Tecmo Bowl with the computer. It's a landslide. You better keep picking that one play for Bo Jackson. Them boys will be in your backfield. Up, you pick the same play as me. All our blitz. You be on Tecmo like, dang. Think about it. Tecmo wasn't even about skill. It was all about algorithm. You had a 25% chance of stopping everything that your opponent did just by basically pushing the same buttons that they did. I picked your play. Nothing. These dudes not only still got Jamar Chase off, they targeted him like 16 times. And he still got 100. I mean, what world do you not double this man? Oh, and by the way, he's still only rush 4. He was still only rushing 4. Do we blitz? Still was only rushing 4. Playing zone. Guys sitting down. No real team takes their starting quarterback off the field for a backup to throw deep on 4th and 1. They think y'all stupid. I'm gonna be honest. They do. I mean, I'm not gonna call it out yet, but I'm willing to say, you let me know. Comment on this page later on. There's gonna be some people that wholly co-sign that. That just goes to show you, it don't got nothing to do with whether or not you understand what's going on. But I mean, just that alone, it just goes to show me what faith do I have that these guys even understand what's going on? Nobody does that. Zero. And we do it. We do it we do whatever it takes to be a laughing stock. It's just crazy. It's good gracious. Let me get to some more of this. Differences between the Eagles and Browns is Nick Sirianni encourages aggression from both sides of the ball, whereas Stefanski is conservative. Big Kev, I appreciate your super chat, man. And, think about it. The Eagles were just where the Browns were a couple of years ago, right? And they didn't play around with like we did with Baker. They said we're gonna draft Jalen Hurts. They weren't playing around. They were just in the position you were, drafting in the top 5. Now look where they are. Different? Well, let's go to the Bengals. The Bengals was drafting 1st overall. They got Burrow and Chase and went to the Super Bowl and was a play for winning it. They were just where you are. Buffalo Bills. They were just where you are, drafting in the top 5. They took Josh Allen, did what they could to get Stephon Diggs. Guess what? Booyah. But think, they went and got Stephon Diggs and then actually did something like throw the ball to him. We made a trade for Odell Beckham Jr. We not only threw him the ball, we got rid of him for nothing, lost assets, including picks and a bunch of cap room just to jettison him and hand him to the Rams to get a championship. That's what we do. And guess what they got rid of him for? The nerve of a receiver asking to get the ball thrown to him. You cannot make this up, people. You just can't. You can't. This is crazy. This is nuts. You can't make this type of stuff up. Max, Shannon Sharp said bad teams do dumb things. Just wait just wait and they will come through. Bad teams, they just wait. They can't even make it out of their own way. It's just like if you just do the normal things that football teams do, you'll parity in the way that rosters is constructed. You'll be able to stick close in the game. You'll be able to beat some teams you shouldn't. But these dudes just, let's go for a block punt. And I ain't seen a block punt since 1997. Oh, Tecmo Bowl, you're right. Died to live, you're right. Bo was unstoppable on Tecmo Bowl unless you picked the same play. Same play. Let me get this. I got a couple more in here. Let's see. Make sure we get everybody. There we go. Nelson Gonzalez. You pay Ward and he decides he doesn't want to play well anymore. By the way, I want DC gone, but this is deeper than just coaching. Well, you bring up a great point. And thank you so much again for the super chat. You bring up a super point right there. Let me see if I missed something here. All right, got that one. All right, got you. You segue me right to a point where I want to talk about. Let's get to my banners. I got a little bad news. This is deeper than rap. This is deeper than surface level. I know that Kevin Stefanski probably will be back. The problem is this. I know what it looks like going forward when you wait to get rid of people that you should have been gone for a long period of time. I'll explain. You see, as we sit here and we talk about whether or not the team is good, bad, or indifferent, the reality is time is ticking. Guys are getting a year older, a year slower, a year more injury prone, cap penalties, salaries going up. And all of a sudden, if you decide, okay, we're going to go with Kevin Stefanski, in next year, he's going to get 5 or 6 games. If he goes 2-4, he's going to get fired. And when he gets fired, or if he does get fired in the middle of a season, you are now looking at a hard reset. Not a reset on the run. You're looking at a hard reset. You know why? You're currently paying 2 guards millions. You're paying them almost like tackles, and you got 2 of them. You've already given Njoku an extension. He's getting top 5 money. Mari Cooper's getting $22 million next year. He's a year older. He's in his 30s. You got 2 backs. Kareem Hunter's already off the roster because you apparently missed his prime. You signed Dearness Johnson to a new deal. You don't even use him. He ain't even on kickoff. He's healthy scratches. You got Greedy Williams. He's a 2nd-round pick, healthy scratch. You got a guy, Anthony Schwartz, that is done for the year again on IR with concussions. And not saying that he's soft or anything because of concussion. Anybody can get it. But he was soft before the concussions. He see guys coming and he still dropped the ball. So my point is this. You start to look around and you look at the base of who the Browns are, you go on the other side of the football, John Johnson is not salvageable. He cannot tackle. He doesn't cover that well. And he makes mental mistakes. And you're paying him like a top 10 safety. Grant Delpit is a 2nd-round pick who got decimated on a flea flicker. Decimated by Thor. He got decimated by Thor of Ragnarok. That guy is a 2nd-round pick. JOK, I don't know what you do. I don't know. I'm not sure if you're a rusher because you don't be in the backfield. I'm not sure if you're a great defender in space because people be getting the ball over the middle. I'm not sure if you can be a disruptor because you're a little light in the britches. But that's the new wave. You have not done anything to bolster your linebacking core. As a matter of fact, some would add that you don't really care about that. But that adds another thing. You don't really care about linebackers and you don't really care about defensive tackles. Well, how would you say you want a strong defense? Everybody knows you got to be strong up the middle. Even if you ain't a baseball guy, you already know the most important positions on the field in baseball are your catcher, because he's calling the plays, your pitcher, who controls the flow of the game, and your center fielder and your shortstop and second baseman if you want a strong defensive way. The problem with this is you guys don't understand roster building. You're getting older by the year. And if you blow Kevin Stefanski out, that means a new coach is coming in after the season because the interim coach has no chance to retain any sort of, we've seen it with Greg Williams. Now, when that new coach comes in, he's going to have cap issues and big-time decisions on how you allocate your roster. All of a sudden, your right tackle Conklin is out of here. Jedrick Wills is a guard. I mean, I don't think he's a top 10 player. Jadeveon Clowney is already gone. And now you only guy that you got to work with is Emerson, Myles Garrett, Newsome, and Denzel Ward. But I don't think he's a building block, do you? See, there's 2 ways you can think of it. You could be one of these people that says, I love keeping coaches and continuity. And you know what? I've been taught to love authority figures, and doesn't matter. He has to be there for a reason. Even though counterintuitively, you guys know all kind of people that's terrible at their job. You work on an assembly line with somebody who you think is garbage, and you want them to be up out of here tomorrow. You don't be telling them, hey, telling management, don't fire Joe because he doesn't come to work and he makes my job harder. We need continuity in that position. It's the best thing we need. We need consistent people that don't show up. As long as y'all got a warm body on the sidelines, that's all y'all want for the Browns. Trust me. Listen, I know the trauma is deep. I got to shake some people up and rub their shoulders and say, look, you know how they used to say, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. I got to tell y'all it ain't y'all's fault. And to be honest with you, they're not going to take your team anymore. The Browns are here. I think some of you think if I criticize the organization, that they'll up in the middle of the night and go move to another city. They'll move to England or they'll move somewhere and you won't have any say in it. You feel if you say the coach is not up to snuff, that somehow they're just going to get up, snatch your team away. So you would rather not have that thing be in the back of your mind and keep people that ain't worth nothing. Because I'm going to tell you what, there's two ways you can look at this. You can keep Stefanski long enough till the prime of your players are gone and everybody's alienated them. And then you get rid of them and you're in cap purgatory and all your best players walk because you're not going to resign them and you'll be doing a hard reset and we're back to the 1 and 31 days. Or you can ask yourself, what is easier to find? A generational pass rusher or a coach? Which is easier to find? A franchise quarterback or a coach? Which is easier to find? A generational running back and an offensive line that can run the ball when healthy as well as they do, or a head coach? You see, if I asked anybody in the chat, was Zach Taylor a generational coach? You tell me no. You straight up say no. So let me ask you a reason. If you don't think he's a generational type coach, what makes you feel like you got to stick with your coach or everything's going to go to hell in a handbasket? You see, with a franchise quarterback and a good enough roster, even minimal coaches can get to championships. I don't think George Seifert in San Francisco was some juggernaut. I don't see him as some savant. But somehow y'all think that the longer you stay there, he's going to be better. You can stay there and we'll do the reset. Or you can roll the dice and say, I ain't got no time for this. I'm going to go find a coach that can get the most out of my overpriced people that I overevaluated, that can motivate my overpriced people, that can get them to play above their skis, to get them to buy into what I'm saying, to be motivated enough to hold each other accountable. Because I already know what I don't have here. And the longer you wait around, what's to stop? I tell you right now, y'all be mad at me. If I was Myles Garrett, I'll be asking for a release tomorrow. Bye. Y'all figured it out. I told Joe Thomas to a man I would have asked out of Cleveland years ago. I said, you one of the best dudes in the game, bro. You know why? Because I'd have asked for a trade 6 times. And when he's asleep, and Joe ain't gonna tell you this. But to a man, when he's laying in that bed and he's thinking, would I trade that gold jacket for a ring, an opportunity to play at the highest level? That's a really tough decision. And I think he flip-flops on it. Sure, you could be great individually, but we play team sports to win championships, not get citizenships awards. That's not what we play for out here. And at this point, I think we in a position where we playing for citizenships awards. I wouldn't play no games if I was Myles Garrett. I'd get up out of there. I ain't got no time for that. because I'm not going to sit here and hang out with somebody who I know is not going to be capable. Think about it. Zach Taylor was on that sideline looking like he didn't even break a sweat. This game wasn't even close. This game wasn't even close. And if you want to talk about all the young coaches up and coming, he's been outplayed by the Dolphins head coach, who's 5 years old. We're not even going to talk about he been outplayed by Zach Taylor, 10 years old. When the coach in San Diego, he's like 16 years old. All these young dudes is lapping you. It ain't like, he's up here competing with his own class. He's dominating his peers, and he's just losing to the Reeds and Tomlins in the world. No, you're getting dog walked by the people that's in your own neighborhood, your own, your own little sphere of coaches. You ain't even got the best playbook. If I'm looking, you tell me, ask me, put it in the chat. Can you tell me right now, if I'm a superstar or anybody or a coach or somebody coming out of college, why would I want to play here? I just saw OBJ not get the ball. I just seen Nick Chubb be relegated to like minimal carries. Heck, Deshaun Watson been out a long time. I don't even think he doing better, but I mean, he ain't crazy shining. Kareem Hunt is just a glorified fullback. So you tell me Stephon Diggs was like, I got to go. Get me to a place where they could get me to rock. You tell me. Why would I want to show up? Let's get back to it. Comments. Get to them. Hey, couldn't use Stephon Diggs either. That's the Browns for you. My uncles and my dad going to the grave waiting on the Browns win. Kim, I would like to come on here, Kim, and tell you that we're closer than what we are. I would love it. I was the 6-0 Kool-Aid guy. But I just don't see the path to them making the right decisions. The Browns have never made any tough decisions. And you could point to the staff. What reason is Joe Woods still on his staff? What reason? Like there was no reason. Like all this, it ain't going. And a lot of people that sit there want to tell me, well, it's not going to do anything. You might as well leave him here, bro. Every second you leave him on your roster, every single second you leave him on your roster, you either alienate or you stamp in somebody's mind about the perception of your organization. And the perception around the league, along with the referees, is you guys are laughing stocks. No one cares what you're talking about. Why do you think that they throw 99 penalties on the Browns every week? Some good calls, some absolutely horrible. Some are just, it look like y'all fixing games. That's how bad they are. But you know what? These big name people, big name coaches, you know what they do? They voice their opinion. I ain't seen Kevin give nobody no work on the sideline yet. I ain't seen them give no work. Some of these calls, they would have had I would do it so bad that they would give me a technical foul in football. They'd be at the goal line shooting the ball over the goalpost. They're gonna have Joe Burrow shooting the technical foul over the over the goalpost. I'll be in here getting technical fouls for football. And I'll be in the press conference talking about this. Look, I got money, like I said in my other live. I got money for the fun. Yeah, I'm going to really get at these referees and in the post game. And it might cost me $250,000. But guess what? G. Bush came into the game with way less than $250,000. My wife can survive off a couple million, but I'm going to get my $250,000 worth. I'm going to come in there and say, it's time out for y'all doing this. It's time out for the Cleveland Browns and having Bottlegate happen every week. It's time for the Cleveland Browns getting the end, the butt of all jokes. Who remembers the play when they called it a fumble? Duke Johnson recovered his own fumble, came up and gave it to the ref in 1 second, and they turned around and did that. Washington ball. How are you going to say, why I got the ball in my hand? Okay. How many of y'all was there when they overturned the spot in Oakland on Nick Chubb? How many times is there going to be where the Browns defense is actually playing solid pass interference? But yet and still, you call pass interference like they did on Amari Cooper and cost us a game in Baltimore. You know why they do that? Because they don't respect you. Refs are just like humans. They watch Patrick Mahomes. They got bias. They think they're great. Patrick Mahomes throw incomplete. That had to be pass interference because Patrick would have never thrown the football that way. Offsides. Oh, no. That guy, listen, J.J. Watt would never line up offsides. It's J.J. Watt. It's T.J. Watt. What do you mean? He would never do that. That's all good. But let you go do something. Let you Nick Chubb just got 25 yards. That has to be a holding. We got to figure it out somewhere. No way the Browns get 25 yards like that. We got to go back and look at this. And with all this huddling up, it's 100 flags out there. 100 million flags that they throw in every doggone week. And it just so happens that the Browns are on the other end of the spectrum. But a coach with some sort of heart would be like this. You know what? It's hard enough beating these teams without these refs throwing the flags. I don't know if you're bored or something. I don't know if you've told your daughter or your kids that you're going to be on TV, so you just want the FaceTime. But the spectators pay dollars to come see people make the plays on the field. People pay dollars to sit here and watch spectacular catches and for people to perform under pressure in fourth quarters, not to give it to them. Make somebody earn it. I don't want to see people getting the ball on the 1 yard line because you feel like, oh, I'm going to just throw this flag, or, oh, that was a really good play. Let me bring it back so they can watch me talk about and whisper with my crew. What did you see there? What did you see there? I didn't see anything. And I'm tired of these dudes. Well, let's go to Secaucus, or let's go to, what did you see there? Stop. I'm tired of it. That's my little rant. That's my rant on the refs. But I mean, it's painful at this point. Crenshaw Middle School calling, you know what it is. I wouldn't even say Crenshaw. That's Lauren Andrews. That's Longfellow. That ain't, listen, that's that's Layman, bro. Layman Middle School. If you know, you know. Hey, G, I chose to be a Browns fan in 99. Worst decision I made in 30 years. The Lions beat the Vikings. The Jags beat the Titans. And both of them up. Shaking my head. Hey, I was indoctrinated into the situation too, Michael. And my heart goes out to you because I would rather be covering wins. I would rather be talking about, the people getting better, or how we got a younger receiver that's showing some promise, or how we got some dudes right now that's young and upcoming that we going to be great. But I'm sorry. This is, to be honest, if Jamar Chase was on our team, he wouldn't be good. If we had TJ Watt, he wouldn't get no sacks. If we had Derrick Henry, he'd be on the pitch count too and wouldn't serve no impact. I'm sorry. If we had two running backs like the Dallas Cowboys and Zeke Elliott and Pollard, who's scoring touchdowns like crazy and it has a hot hand, we would say we can only give one of them carries. We won't use them at the same time. And it's true. And that part of it makes it so hard to watch games, because you see other teams understand what the premise of the game is. And that is to create mismatches and to get the ball to the people you pay $500 million to. But here, we think that our analytics team is the true question. That we believe that number munchers and you got a bunch of people that look like Inspector Gadget's niece Penny typing in a MacBook Pro. Matter of fact, that was kind of cheating though. We talk about that for a second, little side. You know, Penny had a MacBook Pro in like 1982. That's cheating. I'd be mad if I was Dr. Claw too. I'm trying to take over the world and do my thing, and somebody then got in the time machine and delivered her back a MacBook Pro. That thing was doing all kind of stuff. It had Siri, Alexa on it. It had Wi-Fi. You could order. It had Grubhub only for her. Like that MacBook Pro was shutting a lot of stuff down. I seen this dude be like, Dr. Claw was talking to other villains from all different timelines. I seen him talk to Gargamel, like, hey Gargamel, can you give me a potion? I see you chasing these damn Smurfs, but can you get me a potion or some sort of concoction for this MacBook Pro? I mean, she just typing this stuff in, just foiling my plans. That MacBook Pro was devastating. That's like having a TI-83 in algebra back in the day. You got a TI-86, you're dead. You can just push a button. They just give you all the parabolas. It just give you all the proofs, all of the sets, everything, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. I don't know, but I'm losing faith in Kevin Stefanski. Soul Train, I've been there, bro. I've been there. Let's get to some more of your comments, man. G Money, Uptown. Differences, other teams get the playmakers. The Browns are dragging their feet like they couldn't get to the Super Bowl. We lost games by small points. That's a player or two. Yeah, you know, these guys, man. You know what it is. You already know what it is. Man, Sean Phillips, man. I need Bruce Arians up in here, man. I need a proven winner who wants to be here. I'm trying to get these I'm trying to make sure that them playbooks is out of here. Chubb has struggled lately. Sean Phillips, I appreciate you on the super chat as well, man. Key Hook says that G Bush facts. This show is not for everyone. This show is for the real percent, and the numbers are for the morning show. For real. Hey, look, man, it ain't for everybody. You know, I respect you if you know, some of y'all just went to sleep. I used to do the same thing. Browns lose, I'm going to sleep. This for the real talk, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that's going to be on tomorrow and, you know, temper your expectations, but certain things ain't to be tempered. It don't make you smart because you don't react to what you see. That just makes you a pushover. Like, that don't make you smarter than the whole room because you refuse to call out what's right in front of your face. That just makes you a Kool-Aid drinker. And I came up with the 6-0 Kool-Aid, and I didn't come back here drinking the Kool-Aid. Keep it real. Keeping it real. Man, it's a lot of comments. I appreciate y'all, man. A.V. Williams, I appreciate the super chat. G. Bush, how many times have you seen NFL coach say, "Oh yeah, we made a bad call at the end of the game"? Man, I get that's why I get my money's worth. I'll be calling these dudes out by name and everything. And guess what? If you call them out bad enough, it brings attention because the rant's going to be on ESPN. The rant is going to be on NFL Network. The rant's going to be everywhere. It'll just be there. So the next time it happens, you'll think twice about being like, ooh, was that borderline? Yeah, it's borderline. You talking crazy. Every name you said will be making plays. That's the bottom line. No, he won't. No, they wouldn't. What makes you think? What have you seen in Kevin Stefanski's playbook that said they would throw the ball to Jamar Chase 16 times, targeted? They don't even target. They give Nick Chubb minimal carries, 11 to 15, 16 touches. They don't even give Amari Cooper double-digit targets. Like that's not a thing. Like where do you see Odell Beckham Jr. had to put somebody had to put a film that said this, yo, I'm open every single play. Why don't I get the ball? What makes you feel like those guys would come here and not have to do the same thing that those other dudes did? Analytics will never prove better than a football coach, scout, or situation. Romel, exactly. Spectre, gotcha. How crazy is this? We got a baseball guy making football decisions only in Cleveland. Like, think about it. We also are the only people that brings a backup quarterback in the game cold to throw a 40-yard pass for 4th and 1. Boy. Boy. Oh, Lord, bro. Let me get to some of these, man. Soul Train, appreciate you, man. When you surround yourself with the trash, you eventually start to stink. Kevin Stefanski is starting to smell. Always appreciate your content. As always, I appreciate your support, man. Let's see. I appreciate you guys, man. Let me get to the rest of these. Man, you guys are doing me big, man. Gregory George, I was watching the game on the beach. I almost threw my phone in the ocean. Deep Podesta, Barry, Stefanski, and Woods need to be shown the joy. Shout out to 3Gs as well, man. Appreciate you. Happy holiday blessings, King. As always, I appreciate you. Make sure if you down there in the great, great state of Florida, when you look up 3Gs, dope food, dope content. Make sure you go ahead and do that. And as always, I appreciate you in the super chat, man. Let's see. Set Apart Slash says, you think we need to change the colors or name like Blue Magic? Blue Magic. That's a brand name. Like Pepsi. Like Coke. Oh my goodness. I guarantee it. As if I'm a president of General Mills. That's one of the dope. I butchered that line, but one of the crazy lines in American Gangsters. I appreciate that. G Money, they're gonna say it's not on Kevin. Deshaun Watson had almost 300 yards. We need to get better plays. Go get Fuller so Watson can throw deep ball. And Shorts need to learn more. Amen. That's another thing. They told us we didn't need receivers. Fuller, remember, you saw Ndamukong Suh, he might be washed up. There's a reason nobody else wants him. Oh, really? He just goes right to Philly and gets his money off. Glenn Francis, I appreciate you. I appreciate the super chat. The coaching staff is not NFL caliber. That was a scary position for me when I came to that conclusion. It was just, I don't know if they're up to snuff as far as the standards of what a coach needs to do to be competitive out here. I just don't think it. I don't know, man. Make sure I got all these, man. Man, I appreciate you guys, man. We've been on here for an hour. I'm gonna do one thing. Can I ask you guys? Hey, you ain't gotta donate. If you want to, you can do it at GBush $Gbush91. You can do it on PayPal. Search Garrett Bush on PayPal. You can also super chat. We got a great number of super chats. So thank you so much. And before we go to where you're calling from, please do me a favor. Hit the like button. Don't cost you nothing. All you got to do is hit the like button. You can subscribe if you enjoy real content. You enjoy Brown's content. Please hit that button as well. And definitely coming up tomorrow on the Locked On Browns podcast, we'll get the grades with John Costco, Pro Football Focus. I'll be with Jeff Lloyd. We right back at it again. You can check that out. We'll probably be doing that at 2:00. If you want, we'll be rehashing the whole situation. And you know how I'm not gonna let them breathe. I'll be on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. That's 11 to 1 every single weekday, Monday through Friday, rain, sleet, or snow. Right on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to that. Over there, great success. 4 million views so far, approaching 20,000 subscribers. That's been a success. We almost have 4,000 subscribers on the Locked On Browns podcast, and one that's near and dear to my heart. This is my baby right here. This is how I got my start. The barbershop. Right now in the barbershop, we closing in on 10,000. And let me tell you what, from a perspective, I never thought I would reach 2,000. So for me to get 10,000, and this is where I put most of my work in, over 300 videos on here. I'm really excited about that. And also 1 million views. I'm about to hit 1 million views all time on the barbershop. And you don't know how crazy that is to me, because that means 1 million people walking around took time out of their schedule to watch something like that. And, before I had a radio job, before I had anything, the only thing I had to express myself was a barbershop. And to know I got 10,000 subscribers and 1 million, I know it's a lot bigger channels, but it means something to me. So if you want to definitely subscribe, hit that button, hit that notification bell, continue to watch the show. Hopefully we get there by the end of December on those views. As always, I would appreciate everybody that came in here, helped me vent, therapy for each other. And you know how we do. We always keep our head up, because at the end of the day, they say always wait for next year. we'll still be here. We'll be complaining and moaning, but look, we'll still be around. Saw some good things from Deshaun Watson. I would say I'll give him a B minus or C plus. But there were times today, Deshaun Watson, in his throws and his movement and ability to move in the pocket, showed me why he does get $230 million. He did make a tremendous jump from week 1 to week 2, and he gave me comfort. One of the scary things I was thinking about was, what if the coaching staff ain't up to snuff, and what if Deshaun Watson ain't got it no more? And I could put one thing to bed, thing to rest is that Deshaun Watson does have that. I'm confident in that. I just think now they have to get to a place where they can figure out evaluating this coach, getting a new defensive coordinator, and being better with evaluating talent coming up. So those are the things that we need to look forward to. As always, salute to you guys. Let's get to where you checking in from. Let's go ahead and do that. My favorite part of the day, as always, G. Bush in the building, 330. 216 Lakewood in the building. Also, shout out to 440. Shout out to 234. All those area codes, Northeast Ohio, stand up. You know what it is. Shout out to the Philippines. I want to say that as well. I almost missed one. Paul Hawkins says, if they continue with Savansky, Woods, and Prefer, a rebuild is coming within a year. Hey, Aslan is on the move. Aslan is on the move. You are correct and right. Fred Heim says, if Watson starts to succeed in spite of Stefanski instead of because of him, Stefanski will be on the clock. Oh, he's coming. That's coming. That's coming. All right, we got to that. Well, we got it. We got everything. Let's get to where you calling from. We'll definitely do that. Where are you checking in from? Here we go. Man, y'all quick. Y'all quick. Orlando, man. Soul Train, I appreciate you, man. Howard, Tennessee. 216 St. Clair. Allen, you in the building. Roaming Shores. Key Hook. You at 330. Well, shout out to Akron. Barberton. Hey, Barberton Chicken, what you know about it? Some of the best you'll have. Make sure you check that out. Hall of Fame City, you already know what it is. Shout out KA, you know what it is. Canton, Ohio, stand up. Abilene, Texas, Justin Green. What up, Green? Shout out to Mama Green. Shout out to Justin and Jeremy, the whole Green family, my people. Arizona's in the building. Glenn Francis, Talmadge, Ohio. Shout out to Dennis Thompson, the pride of Talmadge. Avon, Indiana is in the building. 330. San Diego is definitely in here. Brad in Elyria is here. Minnesota moved there in 87. Shout out to you. Hall of Fame City. Hey, we deep in. Shout out to Michael. We deep here. Canton, stay deep, man. You don't want to hire the Cincinnati Bengals fans. That's keeping it real. Shout out to Reevy Jones, man. I appreciate you. Marion, Ohio, love you too. Gregory George via 305, but we know you repping that 330 as well. Let's keep it. Boulder, Colorado with Coach Prime. Shout out to Coach Prime, by the way. Y'all stay off Coach Prime. Y'all don't know what he was doing. He put a lot of money in behind the scenes. He did a lot. He was elevating the culture. He elevated Jackson State. He did a lot, and he's going to continue to do that. Where in the world you don't want a man to prosper, bro? He could do more at Colorado and still help his people. He got a lot of stuff going on. Shout out to Coach Prime because he does what he said he's going to do, and he puts his money where his mouth is. Shout out to him. 330 is definitely in here. Springfield, coming from St. Ed's. Let's keep it moving. 251, diehard Watson fan. So we done with that. I appreciate every single person in here. I want to thank you guys. I want to encourage you to have a happy holidays. We'll be back, like I said, 1 p.m., 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We'll come back with Locked On Browns podcast. And as well, you always got to keep it locked to the barbershop, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. every single Saturday on 92.3 The Fan, and every single Browns tailgate show on from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. As always, we want to encourage you to have a happy holiday. Stay safe out there. And always go Browns. It's your boy G. Bush. Peace.